Da da da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes to get those notifications out. If you've never popped into one of my lives, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside, and I was having a little giggle with myself, thinking I was going to squeeze in a little bit of a sip before we went live. I went, oh, okay, here we go. Hi, my name is Cindy. I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I grew up in a very dynamic family, all kinds of different personalities, strong personalities, people who have struggled lots and handed it down to their kids, and it was handed down to them. And I believe it's for the next generation that we want to do better by ourselves as an example to the next generation, right? We can drill into them as much as we want, but they're only going to hear what they hear. And it's always, my experience by being that example for others, it sets the standard, right? Or not, depending. Depending on what we're doing for the most part, though, right? A lot of kids in my generation, we didn't grow up with split families, but growing up and, you know, maybe it was just always there, but because I changed the people that I was hanging around with, that I was making my friends, I actually moved to Winnipeg, Manitoba when I was 18 years old. I'd say that was almost like an adult, almost, right? At that point. And so it was like a totally new experience. I had an opportunity to recreate myself in a new city. I could be anything I wanted. I could do better by the life that I left behind, right? And this is the way I was thinking when I moved here. Well, the only thing I was thinking is I didn't want to be left behind, right? I would have been the only one left behind in Vancouver all by myself, and my family and my sisters all took off to Manitoba. We're all still here now. Mom and dad have passed away, but I have my three sisters, and we're all alive and kicking, some better than others, right? But it's kind of amazing how we all settled into this province, right? We never split up. We never moved back to BC permanently. We did try it out a couple of times. Didn't work for me. I'd already come to realize that Manitoba was the best place that I could possibly be, right? That even if I couldn't take care of myself, and I didn't mean to unload myself on the government, but you know, when you don't have a footing, when you don't know where to turn, right? It is quite miraculous and amazing when you get opportunities to be touched by kindnesses. And I've had a lot of kindnesses come my way, you know, even in the past half a dozen years, and getting a little bit of mentorship and, right, getting back into stable footing and being able to hold on to a job for longer than 6 months, right? And I'd always worked full time and long term in my jobs, sometimes out of necessity, most of the time. But a few times I really hit the jackpot when it came to the jobs that I landed. I really did truly enjoy them. Had lots of fun, and they did take me in different directions where I did meet different people. And in those interactions and making new friends and acquaintances, I guess I kind of chameleoned into a different life. I took on the persona of the groups that I wanted to be a part of, right? And things just kind of progressed from there, right? It is in making those choices that bring about change in our life, right? Whether it was me turning 18 and living on my own, maybe possibly staying behind. And that would have been a really sad situation. I'm not sure if I would have been able to hold on to those relationships if they were as tightly bound as they are now, right? It was after my father died that we all just, right, we were just a bunch of women, my sisters and my mom, and we just kind of bound together and just kind of took care of each other that way, made each other, right, a lot codependent on each other. We relied on each other. We were like our own little community. It was the way we were brought up, and it was the way we grew to appreciate, right? Dynamic families. We all have them. We're all dynamic, right? Dynamic only means different. Okay. There is that nice lady yakking away again. Good evening, Cindy. Good evening, Melvin. Yes, I am. I wanted to say that I was technically in today. So I said, well, before you go to bed, Cindy, and time just flew. Like I got through my shift. It just seemed it ended as fast as it started. Came home, and the next thing you know, I'm going, oh my goodness, it's time to go to bed. And went, oh my goodness, but I haven't done my live show yet. And the next thing you know, I'm texting with my sister and stuff. And I'm just like, but I came in under the wire. Technically, when I look at my analytics, there's going to be a nice stable graph going on. But yeah. And actually I don't mind because like I said, the day went so fast. It ended as fast as it started, and I'm not quite feeling, even though it's a midnight now, I don't feel tired. In fact, I've just made myself a cup of coffee for my live show. Who's to say how many sips that I have, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready for bed yet. And so what better way to burn off a little bit of energy than to come in and do my live and put everybody to sleep? Oh, I make you laugh, do I? That's amazing, though, right? Oh my goodness, we need to laugh sometimes, right? I don't know, maybe it's just a private experience, but it was an experience where I was really knocked, right? Because I noticed how sick and ill, like really, I could tell that it was ill. It just wasn't hurting. It was something ill in one of my regulars. I hadn't seen them in a long time, and it was sad, right? And I felt so bad, and she was trying to come in. It was so cold outside today. But I could tell she didn't have much energy, right? But we had a small talk, and she really appreciated the small conversation that we had, right? It was just a few minutes of conversation. I don't even remember what we talked about, but I know that she appreciated it, right? And I gave her a small hug. I don't know what those other parts of me, but you know, if the ones that just suck me dry and leave me depleted for 24 hours could do that to me, definitely somebody who could use a little bit of good cheer right now, right? Give it a shot. Right? I don't try, and I don't think nothing of it, but when you stay positive that way, and I felt like, a little bit of a hug. She'd appreciate a little bit of hug. Not too much. If all her brain bones would just break. Yeah. It was really surprising. Yeah. So appreciate, right? Appreciate it all. Let me just get this notification out of the way there. Sometimes a hug can be very important. It is important. It really, really is, Melvin. Affection is so important. If it was not, and this is the truth, if it wasn't for my dad's affection and because I could feel out of every pore in his body how much my father loved me. If it wasn't for knowing that I was loved that way, I'm not sure if I would have even made it through my childhood. And that's the truth. Children need hugs, right? And those hugs lead into your adulthood, right? And they were always so amazing. Actually, I hugged today, but I'm not usually a big hugger unless I feel somebody really needs a hug, right? My mother was a little bit antisocial that way. She wasn't a hugger. She never kissed us. She never said she loved us, right? Like she never even expressed it in any manner. But to my sisters, that woman was queen, and to me, that woman was my worst nightmare. And it surprises me and it irks me and it's curious as to why all those years that they never noticed anything, right? Yeah, makes me curious sometimes, but these are the lessons that I'm in right now. So you're stirring the pot there a little bit, Malvin, right? Right? That sense of affection, right? That hug, that sense of appreciation, that sense of somebody's thinking of you rather than just thinking of themselves, right? And that hug might not be anything to you, like, right? It's just, oh, and there's a hug. But to them, it might be absolutely everything. I felt that hug today. I hope it does. I hope it serves her. Really. So many people get the freebie. What do you call those? Dine and dash, right? Zap all your energy and disappear like somebody who could really use. And she had young teenage children too. Yeah. Yeah, but it is true. Affection and hugs, so important. Touch, so, so important, especially in the developmental years, right? In those very young years that it makes the children know that they can stand on their own if they know they got mom or dad standing behind them ready to catch them if they should fall, right? Makes us a little bit braver, right? We know we got the backup going, right? And that's what it is, right? If you're hugging somebody, you're just letting them know that you got their back. You appreciate them. Yeah. I had a young lady ask me for a hug the other day. I hugged her and it felt good to both of us, I think. Isn't that amazing? I love that. That's amazing. But yeah, for strangers, once in a while I have a moment with a stranger. Usually it's when I'm giving my mitts away or something, to somebody, and they'll give me a little hug and we have a little interaction and stuff. But that stuff's important, even if they're to strangers, eh? Sometimes it even means more to a stranger, you know? Yeah, these run ins in my store are getting really, really bad every single day, the shoplifters. And I'm hoping it will settle down. I'm hoping that it's because they need their coats and their blankets and stuff, and we're told not to give it to them. But at the same time, we're told not to chase them down. And so They're just coming in and just taking what they need. I think I probably feel a little bit better about that. I don't feel that need to defend our product, except to let them know they're poop heads when they come in and do that, right? I mean, couldn't do anything for them if they asked me for a coat. It's not our policy anymore to give the coats to the homeless, right? Because manager ended up in a body cast. Yeah, so we took care of that community every change of season, set of clothes and a sleeping bag or a blanket or something, right? You know, but it takes one bad apple, and then everybody becomes resentful of that, and somebody's going to get hurt again, right? Because of it. But every day, it's a problem in the store, but it's a problem. It's a problem everywhere now, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, I love that idea, Melvin. Right? Just giving a hug. Right? I'd always like to do the shoulder rubs or on the back to let people know that they're appreciated, or don't work so hard, or I know how hard you're working, or you're almost done this, and I give those rubs sometimes, right? Yeah. But I have been working on my cards, you guys. I got the words written down on my 54 powerful word deck. I haven't got the quotes or the thoughts that are be going with the words, but I left space and I measured, so all the lettering is pretty consistent. So hopefully there's enough space on each card that I can write my thought or my quote that I had written down. For now, I just like to ground in a word so I don't go off into topics that are really right even beyond my head sometimes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull a card. They're just powerful words. That's all they are. And sometimes it's just in that first perception, and you can draw something that's kind of just floating on the surface, right? I don't question what it is, and I just kind of flow with it. And sometimes, you kind of get a little nervous because you don't know what the word is. There is no prep in that. And the prep is consistently doing that so that you consistently over time get it right. Okay, so we're just going to pick a card here. I guess this one wants to come out. Trust. That's a great card to pull from the deck for the first time. See, I left space down here, nice and clear with the Sharpie here. And then whatever, some of them were just short, some of them were just a sentence. Maybe a couple of them were a little bit longer, but right, they have to get on the card because I want to get in the habit of, right, the back is going to be the design of the deck. So I'm going to need the powerful word and the thought underneath. So when they go into manufacturing, right, that we got everything fitting properly, right? Okay. So the word trust, that's absolutely amazing because that's what I'm doing here online, right? It is in building that trust. It's me making the best effort as I can to come to the table as myself, right? And when I say as myself, that is the the effort of myself. Because again, all of us, we have those qualities and those guises and those little quirky things about us that right, sometimes we're hesitant in sharing, right? For me, it's some of the, well, it's the topics that I'm covering because for the characters, for the humans, for the souls that I want to take care of, right? Um, it's going to take that genuineness to be able to make any long lasting progress in being able to, right, create the best life for us for we create the best life for myself, right, and for yourself as we possibly can, right? We deserve that. This is our life. This is our shot at it, right? And lots of people, right, they're just in a, I'm trying to think of the word for it, as there's a homeless guy outside the apartment building yelling up to maybe somebody up in the building here, but right? But it's distracted me a little bit. But what I was going to say is, in that trust, bring it back to me. In building that trust, it takes time, right? It's I reveal a little bit, you reveal a little bit. It's in our conversations. It's how we build friendships, right? It's how we build friendships, but we also understand all of us have gifts to offer the world, right? That 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 things about you take care of different parts of me, right? And then I the same for you in different ways, right? And when we're building that trust, it takes genuineness. It just does. And when I'm in that state of flubbering over myself, right? When I'm in that state of unsuredness, when I'm in that state of hesitancy, right? They call it procrastinating. I don't like that word, but the word serves its purpose, right? Because it's meant to dig, it's meant to reflect to you the no, right? The thing that's holding us back, the thing that's because of us. It's something that, right, we're just not applying ourselves, right? Procrastinating. It's not a fun word, right? But it's a truthful word, and especially for me, well, especially for me, especially for lots of people, but in my case, right? Yeah, it's because I'm online. It's because I'm sharing a lot of this experience online. It's why I wanted to get back into these words here, but it seems these words want to take me off. It doesn't want to keep me in the mindset today. Today, right? We pull in the reins, get back into that groove that we had going on right before we went on our September vacation. And then it was like all completed. And it was like, oh, glad that was done. A year of glad that's done, right? And then in doing that, even the thought of it is going, no, right? And that's my pushback for myself. But see, that's where the trust comes from, right? That's my genuineness in sharing that. I'm not sharing always. I'm sharing very rarely the sparkly Cindy's. Well, I guess so because, right, naturally, I recognize even for myself that I roll pretty good, right? That I move within the difficulties and the joys and the happiness and the fun and the excitement and the adventure, right? I roll through all of that pretty good. I think it's my don't cry over spilt milk mentality. I think possibly, I look at the world and going, right, I'll never have to go through that experience again. That's done. That's over. I got rid of it, right? Or I got over it, right? that can never touch me again. In that release, right, of knowing that to be true, right, makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. It makes it so that I don't mind sharing a little bit more. And it's not a matter of whether or not I mind or not. I'm in this, right? I'm in this. And so it's in that procrastination again, right? That it holds me back from what I, right? Again, that unsuredness. And I'm not sure if that unsuredness is really unsuredness or just hesitancy, right? Because there's a difference, because hesitancy is caused by something, and more than likely that's going to be the procrastination, right? Right? Yeah. But I'm trying, you guys, right? And as we come in, and I come in and do my lives, and we go over these words over and over and over again, I'm sure over the course of the years that we will get it down packed. But in that, right, because we've done it so many times that I've become practiced in that knowledge, I got it down packed, that maybe it becomes too shiny. And it's this process right here where I'm not quite right, all perfect and without dings and without hiccups and without failures and without insecurities and without limiting beliefs, right? That those things are still there, but you see the effort, right, that I'm putting into it. You can see where my heart is. You can see where I go with things and how I flow with things. That when I do get to that point where it's all polished and I've got it down part, just call me Dr. Ruth. Right? And I got it all, right? You won't be, I'm not saying surprised, you won't think badly of me because it's so polished, right? Because eventually I suspect that it will be. But it's this point, like I said right now, that we have that opportunity to build that trust, because that trust is in the little hiccups, it's in the little flaws, it's a little bit of, oops, I shouldn't have said that. It's in the effort, right? It's in recognizing what's going on here, right? Right? And recognizing that I'm showing up. Uh, Even when I'm not at my very best. And you can always tell, I'll tell you one thing here, right? You can always tell that I'm excited because you'll hear the little giggles in between things, and that's me burning off the energy in the conversation, right? I get a little embarrassed, I give a little giggle, a little bit of that, right? And if I could see colors and stuff, I bet you would be very, very colorful, right? Be like smell-o-vision. there's a there's a scary thought. I'm really surprised they haven't invented that yet. I really thought they would have invented. But what are you gonna, right? Right? What would be the big deal? I don't think. So anyway, you guys, we got the deck. It's going to be up and running as of now. We'll stick with the words. Um, and I would say I'm going to apply myself, give myself a half an hour, maybe in the morning when I'm having the coffee, and each day do a few of the cards until all the quotes or the thoughts on the word or the experience they're already done. They're going on the card, no matter if I spelled the word wrong. Well, maybe if I spell the word wrong, I'll correct the word. But the way they're written out is the way they are meant to be written out, and that's how they're going to go onto the card. So we'll start work on that tomorrow, and this will be my working deck. But I think I'm very, very pleased. I'm very pleased with the measurements of this deck, and I think it's not. No, I've seen a couple of decks about this size. There's a couple of tarots that I know, and these are not tarots. Like I said, they're just powerful. They're just powerful words, you guys. They're just powerful words, and we'll delve into each one of these words, right? Maybe for the next year. I don't know. I'm still like a tossed salad with what's going on, but I know I'm tying it all together. January 1st is all going to be tied together, my goals and everything, right? But yeah, I'm just tying up the loose ends, and then I'll let everybody know exactly what's going on. I don't even know yet where I'm going on my trip. Not in all honesty. I'm throwing thoughts into staying in Manitoba, but yeah. January 1st, I'll let everybody know. And we'll do a premiere that day. I'd already decided on it, and right, I have to put a little bit of time away for that one too. In the meantime, we're hacking slowly away. It might not be 100 miles an hour, but we're moving with it, aren't we? We're still moving forward. Okay. As we get older, trust in someone is harder to achieve due to past experiences in our life. Uh, it's funny though. Uh, Trust is for me quite easy because in the beginning, people are earning, right? If they want to be your friend, if they want to be around you, if they want to marry you, be your boyfriend, girlfriend, they're going to try extra hard. And I think that in the beginning, that's a safe place to be in order to trust a little bit. But the thing is, when you trust at that point, you're trusting in that expression of peacocking, right? Next thing you know, he's got a big pile of underwear sitting at the end of the bed, right? He doesn't clean the sink out. He spits all the toothpaste all over, right? And then all these things add up because, right, we're not being genuine in that. And then that's when the trust issues showed up because we trusted the person you first showed us, right? And now all this real stuff is sliding into the story, right? Sliding into the relationship. And then you recognize that possibly, right, you're really not with the person that you thought you were with. That's why it's so important to be as genuine as you possibly can. I hooked on some, right? I had some really amazing relationships. All my relationships, dynamic, sometimes difficult, right? But they all started with the trust. And it's usually, right? I'll give you all the ammo. The moment I meet you, I'll give you all the ammo. But if you use it on me, that's when that's when we're gonna have a problem, right? Right? And you shouldn't put the candy in somebody's hand because you know you're gonna eat all the candy, right? And so it's kind of like self-sabotaging at the same time, isn't it? You're kind of asking somebody to break that trust. We set ourselves up for failure in that, right? We set ourselves up for failure. What you think about is realized, right? Yeah, but you're right there. Exactly right. Yeah, as we get older, trust in someone is harder to achieve. I would like to think not, but I've always traveled with my intuition, and I feel out intent, right? And if I feel ill intent, I want to know why I feel that ill intent because sometimes it's just something silly that somebody's hiding because they don't want you to think a certain way about them. I'm talking that intent that somebody's up to something no good, right? They're being sneakity. Yeah. I feel that's how I move as I feel the intent, right? You can move great lengths with a stranger who's lots of talents, right? And learn lots of things and have amazing experiences, right? But you won't be able to run with them forever, will you? It's just for that experience, and you pick up things along the way in those experiences, but they help you out, right? Because you're going to meet other people that might have similar interests as the ones you just came out of, and you know enough now to get yourself in that conversation. Yeah. I think I'm a trusting person. I think even in the crazy relationships and the little backstabs and side handeds and side eyes and right, right. I've done pretty good with the people in my life. Sometimes we don't have a choice, right? Blood binds us sometimes and right. And then also, it's the relationships that your relationships bring into the relationship. Do you know what I mean? Right? Just because I like Joe, that doesn't mean everybody else has got to like Joe. Right? And then if there are lots of people like Joe, then I'm probably not going to like Joe as much as I thought I might because, right? Joe has a lot of friends. He doesn't need to add to that party, and I'm not looking towards going to a party, right? Right? I like to meet people on their own grounds, on their own turf. I'm just closing my eyes now here only because the lights glaring back in my face and that it is time to go to bed, you guys. But we'll all have a good sleepy tonight, right? Right? Because we all dissipated the energy on each other, right? I hope you have an amazing sleep, right? I hope that lady tonight has a good sleep and wakes up tomorrow feeling a lot better. I hope all of us have a good sleep. And then we're going to be back at it tomorrow. I might come in early tomorrow. Yes, I think I might come in early tomorrow just so that we can disperse some of that high energy, right? and and then give that low energy a little bit of a break because it takes a lot more energy to bring the low. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer for tonight. I am bagged. I am ready for bed, and yeah, we start it all over tomorrow, but it'll look a little bit different, and it only looks as different as our choices throughout the day. So make lots of choices, right? I make lots of choices, little things that just make my life feel a little bit better. Like I came into work today and I decorated an electric fireplace that was sitting in the store, and I went put a Christmas tree on it and the reindeer and the lights and turned it on and right. So yeah, that was nice. It set the mood. Okay, you guys, that's it for tonight. I'll see you tomorrow sometime. And yeah, we'll start on these words, you guys. I'm pretty excited for it, right? Got to check to see how much actually going to cost to get this stuff marketed and yeah, put together. Okay, you guys. Good night.